up to the boys. Fox and Shane, set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but a penny turn red. Can't let deck, no game in my hand, war gaming.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast.
Every single
I
week.
am Shane, hanging out with Cripple Fox.
Me. What'd you call me?
Cripple Fox.
Yeah. I got a cast on my leg. In case anyone can't see. I'm actually holding it up for the camera, so if you're listening on Spotify, it sounds like
You can probably hear it.
a person in a cast.
And Churchy. We've got Churchy.
Yep, I'm in the void.
Churchy in the void. Today we are talking about a board game we have played a couple of times. Brass Birmingham.
That's right, we are. We're discussing Brass. We've played it a couple times, and we want to let you know what we think of it, what we like about it, maybe what we dislike about it.
Yep.
So that you, if you're sitting there at home thinking, I've heard of Brass Birmingham, it's the #1 game on Board Game Geek. Is it worth it? Should I get it? I don't know if this is like something you should use to measure that,
Yes.
but we hope...
Everything we endorse, you should get.
Didn't we endorse Skytear? Actually, I've
Yeah.
thought a lot about that game.
You reckon it's worth a revisit?
I honestly think it's a really good game. The miniatures were beautiful. I liked the gameplay. I just couldn't imagine fitting it into the roster.
True. That's true.
But yeah, I feel like Brass Birmingham's way better than that game.
While we're talking about Brass, I spoke to a couple of coppers today.
All right, hang on. So just before we talk about that, we are going to talk about Brass Birmingham, the game, fill you in on whatever we know about it. But Shane's just going to go on a tangent for a sec, so bear with us. You spoke to a copper?
Two, actually, yeah.
All right.
So we were getting Smoko at this cafe
did
that we
you
go
send
to.
a thing of a copper trying to kick down a door
Oh, that
poorly?
was a different thing, dude.
What?
Yeah, we were on a job and like this Hilux with this ratty old trailer rocks up and we're like, okay, this bloke is going to mow this lawn, but he's bought the wrong equipment. He's
So
bought the new ute and a old trailer.
So for reference, when Shane says he's on a job, he works in water pipes.
Yeah, oh, not in the water pipes.
Sometimes.
They're generally small enough that no person could fit inside them. Sometimes they're big enough, but you wouldn't want to be in there.
All right, so you fix water pipes.
We fix water pipes.
And so you've gone to this job where it requires you to fix a pipe.
It was leaking.
The pipe was leaking.
Main was leaking, yeah. So we dug down, we fixed it.
And this is at a house or like
This is
near
in
a
the
house?
age strip at the front. It's a little court. It's actually a quite little court.
All right.
And we're there, and then
Some blokes rocked up.
they rocked up. They've parked like on the nature strip. We've got 3 trucks there and a traffic control ute, so we're taking up like the whole court.
Yeah.
And then this you know the undercover in Australia. A lot of our undercover coppers now are driving around like Volkswagen wagons, right?
Yeah.
They're like real slick. They're real nice, but they've got 400 aerials sticking off them. Like you couldn't miss it.
Can I just... That's facts.
Yeah.
But I saw a cop today, 0 aerials in a BM dub.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, this has changed everything I think about the world because
Yep.
now I can't trust any. I used to look for aerials
yeah.
because that's how you knew.
That's how you knew.
But this bloke just had lights on. Well, yeah, it's a giveaway when the lights are on. But what if they're off?
Yeah, true.
Anyway, carry on.
True. Anyway, this car I was in, I'm like, oh, this copper's going to do this guy for parking on the street or something, right?
Yeah.
Lo and behold, a copper gets out of that Hilux.
No.
With this old trailer on the back. And I'm like,
What?
that's weird. What's going on?
What is going on?
And they're all like they're not in uniform. They're all in casual clothes, and they've got their belts on with their handguns and all that sort of jazz.
Hang on.
And they walk up to this house.
Yeah.
Right.
This is
and
becoming the most interesting thing you've ever said.
probably. I've never seen anything like it before,
All
dude. Right.
All right.
Except for that one time I was at the airport and they were walking around with rifles.
One thing at a time.
Anyway.
Back to, we'll go. Remember the rifles, Churchy. I need to pull that up.
So there's me, Adrian, our trainee, whose name's Max, Hydra operator Johnny Judson, and 2 traffic controllers.
Yeah.
And we're all just hanging out, and there's all these coppers there. When I say all,
And they've rocked up. How many
There was like
copies?
3 to start with, right?
And one of them got out of the Lux.
Yeah, and 2
The
got out of the
Hilux.
V-dub.
Yeah.
And then they've walked over to this house, we're in an area of Melbourne's west, which is probably one of the lower economic kind of areas, right?
Sure.
And but like it is an everyday sort of residential area. This house there was no car in the driveway. There was roller shutters on the windows. No sign of people being home, right?
Sure.
Coppers are on there. beating on this door,
Beating off the door.
trying to kick it in, and it was just like, what locks did they use in the door? Because I need those locks. Right?
If they got shutters,
Yeah.
you know they're locking up.
Oh, man.
They're locking up.
Anyway,
They're terror and siege tanking. They're ready to go. They got their defensive line intact.
they were really ready for that, but
Yeah.
they eventually got in, and then like I guess like maybe one of the senior officers, she rolls up, she's live because we're all watching. She's
Yeah.
like, "Are they in yet?" And we're like, "Took him a while." And she's like, "That's so embarrassing." But she like didn't care, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually they're in, and then this bloke in the Hilux just reverses this trailer into this guy's driveway, like in one smooth motion. He's done this before. Right?
Yeah, 'cause that's not easy to do.
Nah,
First of
nah.
all, you're in a Lux, so your blind spots are rough.
Yep.
At the best of times.
Yep, and he's got this-
And now you got a trailer.
Kind of small but tall trailer. Anyway, so he gets it in there. And then they open the garage door, and there's like a washing machine and like a TV, and I'm like,
Classic.
I'm like waiting to see like a whole lot of dope plants, right?
Sure.
Not one.
No singular marijuana plant.
Nah, nothing. No.
We say that?
No
6
devil's
minutes.
lettuce.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
So they raided this
They
place.
raided the
essentially.
joint. Yeah.
And you mentioned like there was only 3 cops at the moment.
Yeah.
So you got the Volkswagen. Did you say it had lots of aerials?
Yeah, like I don't know, at least like 4.
Like it was stacked up,
Yeah.
and 2 cops got out of that.
Yep.
Then the Lux
Just had one bloke in there.
with one like fully suited cop or casual.
He was casual dressed, but he had like
You
his
reckon
belt
off
on.
duty?
No, on duty.
You reckon he was
gun?
No, you reckon he was off duty and they called him up? And he was
Nah,
in
because they got to go to the station to get their firearm.
Right.
You can't take it home.
I don't know. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So he was on duty undercover.
They were all undercover, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like anyway, they kicked down his door and they took nothing.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Do you reckon they got the
maybe
wrong
the
house
washing
or something?
machine. Well, apparently we were talking to this bloke who lives across the road.
Yeah.
He's like, that guy owns a couple of houses. It's like, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
Yep.
You rolled the dice. You rolled a nat one.
Yeah, your detection skills.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
So that was amazing. That was
Crazy.
cool. And they're like yelling, police open up, yada, yada, yada.
They have to,
They're
yeah.
Trying to beat this door off, and finally the door gave way.
The door came
Yeah.
all
Came
over them.
open.
Yeah, it came
Yep.
open.
Yep.
Yeah, wow.
Yep. That's pretty
Damn,
cool.
dude. That's way more interesting than brass. Let's talk more about that. Wait, what did you say about the rifles before?
Oh, dude, I was at the airport waiting for Ollie.
Yeah.
And like, this is
Ollie's one of our homies in the Discord who
Yeah.
flew in to Melbourne. You picked him up.
this is the time that we went into Melbourne, went to that Irish pub.
Oh, that was good. When I thought I was Irish, but then later found out I was actually Scottish.
Yeah.
Scottish
Don't
Jew.
be ashamed. I'm part Scottish as well.
Well, now I am ashamed. We're basically brothers.
We are,
But you're not a Jew.
No.
Look at that. Look at that hair. It's straight as a tack.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even do my hair because it's 37 degrees today.
It's a hot one. Carry
Yeah.
on.
Anyway, so we're at Caitlin and I, my wife, we're waiting at the front of the airport for Ollie. He's taken ages.
Yeah. Oh, classic Ollie, man.
And we're just hanging out, and then there's like this multi-level car park across from where we were parked. And then I sort of just like looking around. I glance up at like maybe the second or third level up.
Yeah.
And there's 2, I hope, police officers
hope so
walking
too.
around with like AR-15s, right?
Wow, like
Well, I don't know
actual
guns.
assault rifles.
I'm from Australia. They were rifles.
That's
They weren't
so beautiful.
They
I
weren't.
don't know guns. I'm from Australia. We don't have those.
We don't have many.
It was a 22.
It's either a 22
Yeah.
or it's like a over and under shotgun.
Yeah. Whatever kills a rabbit, that's what we got.
Yeah, or a fox.
Possibly a roux. Would you say?
And like, yeah, like actual guns.
Actual guns.
Not like farmer guns.
Imported. That M4A1
Maybe,
shit.
yeah,
From
maybe.
the video games.
Yeah, M16s.
Damn.
I don't know, dude. Anyway, yeah, so I was like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, see
You
that
know
shit.
what? I love people are going to click this episode because it says some bullshit about Brass Birmingham.
And it's
There's
been
10 minutes.
holy crap.
Anyway, that's what you
Runs
get.
for the homies.
That's what you get.
Yep.
That's on you,
So
to be honest.
yeah.
If you thought this was an anomaly, you're incorrect. This is an episode of what we do.
This is anomaly.
So, huh? I like that actually.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Thanks, dude.
That was really
I
good.
like you a lot.
I like yours. I like your too, man.
Oh, thanks.
I like your as well, Churchy. I like your. Brass Birmingham.
Yeah.
It is a board game. It was previously a game. I think just called Brass. I could be wrong. I'm pretty dumb.
Yep.
But they brought out a new version called Brass Birmingham and then redid the previous version and called it Brass Lancashire.
Yep.
And basically, Brass Lancashire is the original.
Set in Lancashire.
Of course.
Yep.
And then Brass Birmingham is basically the previous game with new rules, kind of like reimagined,
Yep.
tweaked, all that stuff. Made gooder.
Made good.
And
Indeed.
it came out in 2018. I know this without researching because we haven't researched anything for this episode
We've
outside of
played
playing the game.
a couple
Yeah.
of times. Yeah.
But I know it came out in 2018 because ever since it came out in 2018, which is 5-6 years ago,
Yep.
I've wanted to buy it. Mm-hmm. And it's the game I've always wanted to buy, but then I bought something else instead.
It's one of those. It's like always just gets cut from the list.
It's always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Never the groom. Yep.
Yeah, all right, dude.
Yep.
That's not... It could be how it works, but it's typically not.
2024, dude.
That's facts.
Yep.
That's actually facts. That's actually facts.
I'm just spitting.
Yeah, you are
Spitting
spitting.
truths.
So...
Yep.
I forget what I was saying because of all that garbage you were saying. Yeah, anyway, so I've wanted to buy it since then.
Yep.
And so I've also slowly been watching it climb up the ranks on Board Game Geek.
Right up to number 1.
It's now number 1.
It's knocked Gloomhaven from its throne.
Which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Because essentially people have voted this to be the best board game in the world.
Better than...
A million
Sky
other
Tier.
games, which is also great. You should check it out.
Yeah, you should.
But not our episode on it because that was probably season 2. So
It was
I feel
like episode... No, I reckon that was season 1, dude.
wow, definitely do not watch that.
5, maybe.
Do you reckon other people who do podcasts are as insecure about their like early content as we are?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd say we'd be up there
For sure.
with the most insecure.
Oh, yeah, we are probably number 1 in the most insecure list.
Sure. See? So that's how we relate to Brass Birmingham.
Yep.
It and us are both number 1 in our respective fields.
Yeah.
So that's good. So let's talk about Brass Birmingham because we're halfway through the episode. We haven't said anything about it.
Yep.
So, Shane, tell us about Brass Birmingham.
Brass Birmingham is a game where you build your industrial empire.
Facts.
Set in the late 1700s, you start from building canals and factories to building steam trains and factories.
So if you sit down and you play this game, you've got a map in front of you that has
Different locations.
Different locations.
Cities, towns.
Birmingham, for example.
Birmingham's there. Nottingham's there too.
What are some of the other... What was the one you kept building?
Kittendale.
Kittendale.
Oxford's there. You can't build there though, but you can buy coal from Oxford.
Oh, there you go. You paid much more attention.
Yep.
So you've got a map with different locations, and each location will have different industries that you can build.
Yeah.
And
Quite
so-
thematical too. Like some areas.
Yeah.
Like Colebrookdale. Guess what they have?
Lots of iron, I assume.
0.
Zero
Lots of
iron.
coal.
Lots of coal. There you
Yeah,
go. Who would have thought?
Like some areas, I mean, they obviously have spread it around to try and balance it somewhat, but like
Yeah.
some areas are like, okay, if I build there, I'm building coal mines, I'm building iron mines, I'm building, cotton mills or
Yeah.
whatever. Like you could, there's really areas that you can sort of like, I guess you can set your strategy in. So you all right, this game I'm going to try and just capitalize on like the cotton mills or the manufacturing plants or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like that because we play so many different asymmetrical games like Root and everything where we play and Sidereal Confluence where we play so differently and we all have our unique set of rules. What I like about Brass is it's completely symmetrical.
Yep.
So you get your own little player board that you fill up with these different industry tiles. And essentially, as you build them, you take them off your player mat and put them on the board. And everyone's player mat is exactly the same. So all of us share it, except for like our little people tile,
Yep.
which is what we use to just, it's mostly thematical. It's how we,
Yeah, and it's like a first player tracker.
yeah, exactly.
Or turn order tracker, rather.
it kind of prevents you from just being yellow player.
Yep.
You can be like your person tile has two sides, and in the book it actually has lore and history about that person.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is really cool.
Yep.
So, and you can play either side of the the tile.
I was yellow, so who was I?
Either one of two people.
Ah.
I can't remember which side you picked, but there's a write up
Just
in
a
the.
dude.
There you go. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know what you know.
Not much.
Facts. So the goal of the game is to basically build up your industry because you're a young entrepreneur trying to build up your, what do you call that?
Empire.
I was going to say estate, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's empire.
It's like
during the
yeah.
Industrial Revolution that is not just Birmingham, but surrounding burbs.
Yeah.
And it's very
Yeah.
cool. So as you play through the game, you have cards, and that's what enables you to build your engine. There's a deck of cards. You all get 8 to start with. And the cards either have locations on them, which let you build in said locations, or they have, what's the other ones? Like the industries.
Yeah, so like you might have a card that allows you to build a coal mine or an iron mine, or a card that allows you to build a brewery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can use that card to build that thing, but it has to be connected to your network, which is a very cool thing. It's kind of like a lot of people have played, what's the train game?
Transport Tycoon.
No. That's what your dad said. That was some
No,
bullshit.
he said Transport Empire or
Oh,
something.
okay. But you knew it was Transport Tycoon. There's
Yeah.
like a really popular train game that it's
a board
escaping
game?
me. Yeah.
Really?
It's like one of the biggest board games in the world.
This is news to me.
It sold more copies in the last 2 or 3 years than Monopoly.
That's easy. Monopoly garbage. True.
If I write train game board game, then the train game board game shows up, but that's not what I wanted. Ticket to Ride.
Oh, Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
how like on Ticket to Ride you like try and make your long consecutive trains?
Yeah.
This has that same kind of vibe because that's how you build your network. So you have
Yeah.
to like connect between each city is either a canal or a rail.
Yes, it's true.
But this game takes place in 2 eras. At first, you play through the canal era
Yeah,
where
you can't build rail.
You can't build rail.
No, you can't.
You can't lay the rail.
Yep.
You have to build all the canals. And so in the canal era, you're building all your low-level tech, your level 1 buildings, and you're connecting them with rail. But the 2 resources you typically need to build those things, iron and coal, you have to build your coal and iron mines. Otherwise, you have to spend other people's coal and iron, and that helps them.
Yeah, or you buy it from like the board if you're attached to a certain location.
Yeah.
Then someone else can build a coal mine and then refill that supply that you've bought from.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool mechanics.
There are. There's one thing that was kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm smooth brain. I probably am, but like
You are.
the
but
whole,
carry on.
the whole turn order is it's easy. You get 2 actions, right? And you have to spend a card to do an action.
Yeah.
And you either spend a card, as in like I said earlier, like a location card or a building card.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But like you might do something like build a link, like a canal or a train.
Yeah.
You're still spending your card. So that's
Yeah.
when it's kind of like you in a way you're discarding, and it's like, what am I going to discard now that I'm not going to need later? So you're sort of thinking about that. But for me, dude, I don't know. I just couldn't wrap my head around the whole like industry cards and the location cards, and I'm like,
Yeah, you
why
constantly
can't I
ask the
use
same.
both?
You constantly ask the same questions. You were
I
like,
felt like an idiot.
"Yeah, you were," because Church never asked that question, and
Not
I never
once.
needed to.
Not once.
So I don't know what to tell you about that. About
It's
all
fine.
that.
Just give it to me fucking straight, dude.
You're a fucking idiot, dude. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah,
just
no,
needed to
you got
hear
a
it,
lot going
you know?
on.
Just needed to hear it, yeah.
You got a lot. Like you got, you work and stuff. Your brain's probably fried, dude.
Pretty fried. Yeah.
You saw cops and stuff.
I spoke to other cops today too, 2 times.
You spoke to other cops.
Yeah.
I don't want to detract the
smoko
episode. There's
shop.
like 10 minutes left.
At
The smoker shop in Lara.
Nah.
The one that got driven into today.
Oh, I heard about
Did
that.
you see that?
Yeah, and firebombed like on Saturday or something.
Yeah. So we live in a town where,
Small town.
well, it's bigger, but yeah, it's in
In the grand scheme of things.
yeah, in the grand
Small
scheme of
town.
life, it's a very small town.
Yeah.
And there's a smoko shop, which is kind of out of place for our town, to be honest.
When I said smoko shop, I mean like a food shop, like a cafe. You're thinking of like a smoke shop
I'm thinking of a smoke shop.
where
You're
you go
thinking
to
of a
buy
shop-
bongs and cigarettes.
Yeah, but you're thinking of a smoko shop somewhere you go on smoko, which is what Australians call basically
Tea break.
every 15 minutes
Yeah.
of our work day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's smoko time because so many of us smoked because there's nothing else to do in Australia.
Back in the day,
well,
now
yeah.
it's vaping.
Now it's vapo time. Even that's illegal.
True.
So,
Anyway.
what was the
Rice
point of the story?
Birmingham.
But yeah, Rice Birmingham. Yeah, so you're right. There are the two different cards, and they are a little bit different because the industry cards let you build on an industry. So, like, the card itself might be a coal mine.
Yeah.
That lets you build any coal mine on the map as
Yeah.
long as it's connected to you.
That was the thing that was like kept throwing me, the whole connected thing.
Yeah.
Because like these city cards, the location cards, obviously you don't have to be connected.
Correct.
And I'm just, yeah, I don't know.
Because it
just
might
kept-
say Birmingham, for example.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can build whatever you want in Birmingham. It doesn't need to be connected.
You still got to pay for it though.
You have to pay for it. So
Yeah.
if it requires coal, then you do have to be connected because you need coal to travel down your network
Yeah.
and actually get there.
Yep.
Unlike iron, where you don't need to be connected.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit trippy in that regard. But the game balances itself out so well.
It does. It does. By
Because-
the end of our game just then, I was like, okay, this is all making
Yeah.
sense. It's all, yeah.
Yeah, it became the first time we played it. I was like, I get like this is good.
Good game. Yeah.
This is a good game, but I don't know if this is the best game ever. But then when we played it this other time now,
Yeah.
with many less beverages,
Many less beverages. Indeed.
and also we already understood the rules relatively.
yeah.
I felt like it started to click a little bit more. I was like, I understand that it's very forgiving. If you run out of money, you can take a loan.
Yep.
If you need to spend your iron, you can. What's that thing called? Develop, where you remove, or if you need to like get rid of tiles off your player map, which is something you need to do sometimes, you can develop.
Yep.
Like if you fall behind in a particular area, like you didn't build any breweries
Yeah, especially early on.
and you need to get to level 2 breweries quicker
Yeah.
than you can build level 1s, you can develop and just discard them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of catch, or if you run out of money, did I say that already? Take
Yep.
a loan?
Yeah.
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 So, but none of those are without cost.
No, absolutely. You just got a card for it.
Yeah. And for the loan, you go down 3 levels in the income.
Yeah, which
So-
is another whole thing is the income. Like, so you can go down your income levels quicker
Yeah.
than you go up.
Oh, for sure. Unless you're churchy.
Unless, yeah, church.
Who skyrocketed.
Just rolling in cash.
Rolling in dosh.
Yep.
So the game essentially is an engine builder that you're all trying to kind of build a very similar engine. But I feel like the more we play that game, the more we're going to become more aware of like, I think it's going to become more of a game about blocking other people's engines.
Yeah, yeah. And that kind of happened a little bit in the corner that Churchy and I were in. Him and I were playing in the bottom half of the board.
Yeah.
Bottom third of the board, really.
Yeah.
And like there was a couple of paths that he built that I needed to build on.
Yeah.
And it kind of, it didn't hinder me too much. It sort of just made me go around a different way and sort of split my engine into 2.
But you can also, I feel like the coal mechanic is kind of the core of the game because I feel like you can, if you build a coal mine, one of the mechanics of the game is if you build something that requires coal, you have to take it from the closest coal mine.
Yeah.
So I feel like you can kind of lock people down. And there was a part where I was worried if I was trying to build a pottery industry
Yep.
and use my own coal, but I saw my pottery industry was 3 away from my coal.
Yep.
But Churchy had a connection to a coal mine that if he built it, it was 2 away from my pottery.
Ah, yeah.
And he knew I wanted to build that pottery.
Yeah.
So I was worried he was going to build a coal mine there on that next turn so that when I built the pottery, because that pottery was going to flip a coal mine. And
Yeah.
you kind of want to, all these industry tiles, the goal is to flip them.
Yeah. Because then your income level goes up.
Your income level goes up, your victory points go up. The goal of placing a tile is to eventually flip it.
Yeah.
And so if Churchy had built that coal mine there, I would have had to spend his coal instead.
Yeah.
And help him flip his tile instead
Yeah.
of flipping my own.
Yeah.
I would have been put out wet. But we later found out that I couldn't even build the pottery because it was connected only by rail.
So, yeah, in that first age.
and we were in the canal era.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of cooked myself there. But when I saw that, I was like, it's actually very easy to play against people
Yep.
in this game.
Yep.
And because you can only put one link on each connector, so like from this area to this area, only one person can put a link there.
Yep.
It's very easy to kind of control what people do. And I feel like that eventually becomes the game.
Yeah, like control, screening.
Yeah, essentially. Because
Yeah.
there are things you can do if you're connected, which means if you can draw a line from A to B and it goes through any series of people's industries and links,
Yep.
you can do the thing. But there are some things you can only do if it's part of your network.
Yeah, so your links and your buildings.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if people block you from doing that, it's actually quite easy to do because there are some links that can only be canals or only be rails. And the game is almost split into those two halves. You first play through the canals, where you can only put boats down and run your industry through the canals.
Yep.
At the end of that, you basically reset the map.
Yeah, everything level 1 gets removed.
And all of your canal links get removed.
Yeah.
And you start again. You
Yeah.
build up your rail industry.
Yep.
And it's super thematical, super cool. I want to know, Shane, Churchy, Fox. What after playing it twice, you would rate the game out of 10. And why you like it, why you dislike it, starting with Churchy.
Go on, Churchy. Mr. Winner.
Or if you need more time,
I
start
need a
with
bit
Shane.
more time.
All right. I would give it an 8 out of 10 because the first time we played it, it's kind of the same thing. I was like, yeah. I mean, I've played Gloomhaven once with you, I think.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
I would not rate it as number 1. But
Okay.
that was after an hour of playing it.
Yeah.
Not 12 hours that it takes to set it up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But after the second time playing it, yeah, hooked. Love it.
Okay. Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, just love
I'll sell it to
the
you, dude.
$50.
Oh, yeah, I did get it for very cheap. Yeah, that's true.
Yep. Yeah, just I don't know, just love the idea of it. Like everything is like it's balanced in a way, and it's like it's not asymmetrical like we're sort of used to.
Yeah.
Which I think is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah. I agree because I feel like the asymmetrical games we play, I like those because it takes the edge off.
Yeah.
You can kind of be like, oh, I lost this game because
I didn't know my strategy. I didn't know
I was
my
learning my engine
thing.
and
Yeah.
and it like when we play Root, there's so many conditions.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I couldn't do my X because I was sitting next to this person. That happens in Root a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't sell my cards to this person because this person was like buying this other thing or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of where we sat, how we set up, the races we chose,
Yep.
and how they interact with each other. There's a lot of variables.
Yeah. We're all on the same playing field.
This is chess, the
Yeah.
board game, you know? Like, we all have the same... And the rules are known.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't know is what cards you have in your hand,
Yeah.
but there's ways around
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah. I can't really think of anything that I didn't like. Like everything had its reason, its its purpose.
Setup is pretty good,
Yeah, not bad.
considering, like,
A little bit like if you don't know what you're doing, it's kind of like this is pretty heavy. Like what's going on? You're placing all these tiles, you're stacking them up. They're numbered in Roman numerals 1 through 7 sometimes.
on your little player board, you
On
got to
your-
stack
yeah.
up your industry. Yeah.
And your some tiles have 3. The next tile has 1. The stack after that has 2.
Yeah.
It kind of doesn't make sense in that regard
Sure.
until you understand
Yeah.
that game.
Because
I
there are a
guess.
lot of, like, there are so many extra things. Like, the core of this game feels simple. You spend a card, build an industry, or
Yep.
you build a link to that industry, and that helps you build your engine. It's a Euro engine building game.
Yeah, yeah.
That's simple.
Yep.
But there are so many little things like you can only build this thing in the canal era.
Yeah, yeah.
At the
Yep.
end of the canal era, all level 1 tiles go. So you got to think about that stuff. And all your canal links go. So you're like, oh, okay, if I build a level 2 era,
Yeah.
level 2 industry,
Yep.
it's going to stay
Yep.
in the rail era, but it's also not going to be connected to anything.
Yeah.
Because all my canals are going.
Yep.
But I also have to make sure I flip my level 1 stuff and build it Otherwise, I'm stuck with it during the rail era. That can be something that can happen. You can have things that can only build in the canal era.
Yep.
And then when you move to the rail era, if you've still got those things, you have to like discard them.
Yeah.
And spend actions doing that.
Yep. And spend iron.
And spend iron.
Sometimes you have to buy the iron.
And if you don't have the iron mines for that,
yep,
you have to buy it from the market and pay an exorbitant fee sometimes.
That's what I was going to do at that one point, and it would have cost me like £6.
Monies, which would have been a lot.
Yeah.
Or you have to buy it from other players, which helps them flip their iron mines
Yeah.
and score victory points.
Yep.
So there's all these different things you're weighing up as you're trying to build your engine. So I'm also trying to think of things I didn't like.
Yeah.
The complexity, I feel like, is okay. It's a weightier game for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like if you all watch a video on how to play,
Yeah. Which we did. You
Well-
sent us all a video, and
and Churchy didn't watch it,
Most
and you
of us
said you did
watched
watch it, and then it was later revealed that you watched some of it, or
was on the
rather you had it
background.
on in the background.
yeah, I listened to bits of it.
To bits and pieces.
Yeah, it was Rodney.
It was Rodney.
Yeah, Mike D didn't watch it.
I didn't ask him to.
Oh.
I asked you to too. I was like, I'm not going to ask Mike D that because between the three of us, we can teach him.
Rory didn't watch it.
Rory wasn't there. He wasn't invited.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Unbelievable.
Dude. Rory
Unbelievable.
didn't watch it.
So I think watch a video, play it one time and
Yep.
expect just to learn the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
The second time you feel like, all right, we can play it now. And that will reveal even more stuff. I feel like it's the third and fourth time you can start going, all right, I get it now.
I reckon next time we throw it on there, whole different game.
A whole different game, for sure. Yeah. So
Yeah.
even that, like we mentioned ages ago when we were talking about board games once, we said there are games that you play it once and you
Yep.
get it.
Yep.
There are games that you play it,
One turn and you get it.
yeah, one turn and you get it.
Yep.
One game and you get it.
Yep.
And then some that take a few games before you can get into it.
Yep.
This is definitely that few games.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I agree.
So, I mean, yeah, definitely. I feel like you can learn enough to play it after a few turns, but you don't feel like you're playing it until you've played
Nah,
it a few times.
To really
Does that make sense?
understand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Churchy, what do you reckon? Now that you've thought about it.
I give it 8 out of 10. The strengths are definitely like there's a level of complexity to it and strategy to it. There's multiple strategies that you can kind of pursue. So there's definitely like options for what you want to try and like focus on if you do want to do that. Or you can kind of like Fox mentioned, you can kind of work towards cutting other people off from getting things. There was a few times like where Shane got stuff that I needed as well. And then I think, yeah, just one of the weaknesses is probably just because there is a bit of complexity to it and it does take a few times to really kind of understand what's going on. Like we've played twice now. And the game, we've only ever reached the end of the canal phase so far. We haven't even gotten into the
rail era.
the rail era because
Facts.
it's just a long game with a fair bit going on. And I think, yeah, just coming to it as a fresh player, yeah, you definitely want to give it a couple of games at least to understand the mechanics and what's going on. And like, yeah, so this time, the second time we played was definitely much, much better in terms of knowing what we were doing. But even then, there was still rules along the way where Fox was like, oh, wait, there's this thing as well where we can do this or that. Or
Yeah.
Overbuilding.
So
Overbuilding.
Yeah.
so definitely more things to learn. I love that there's like a lot of strategy to it and that you can kind of plan ahead sort of or try to.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, overall really cool game. And I imagine my rating would probably climb if I played a bunch more.
10 out of 10, you heard it here first from Churchy.
Yeah, I agree with Churchy. At the moment, I would give it, I know 7's a cop-out, so I'd have to give it a 6.5.
Oh, you went under.
Yeah, but I know this game. I can see elements of it where it does climb every time you play it. Like Churchy said, I
Yeah.
feel like first time we played it was probably a 5
Okay.
to me,
Yeah.
based on like other games that I've played where like I love, like honestly, the first time we played Farshaw was better than the first time we played Birmingham to me.
Yeah.
But I know the fourth time I played Birmingham, it's going to be an 8.5 to a 9.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
first
Or
time
the
I played, I would probably give it like 6.5.
Yeah.
Because it just didn't seem to have much order to it. It was
It
just
really
felt very
didn't.
like weird and like, I mean, admittedly had quite a few drinks.
Yeah.
But it was, but it just felt more chaotic. Whereas this time, it felt like maybe it's even the player number because we played 3 players this time, 4 players the first time.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But this time it just felt really like we could plan and do what we wanted to try and do and compete with each other. And,
Yeah.
True.
I think that's a great point too. Like the player count, some games do have a sweet spot.
Yep.
I feel like if we had, the tricky thing is, right, we played for 2 hours, we got through the Canal era and we know what we're doing.
We know more now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't imagine it cuts down much more.
Probably not.
And the
no.
rail
Probably
era is
half now
supposed
at
to
the
go for
most.
sort of 80% of the Canal era.
Oh, wow.
Because it's the same thing again.
Yeah.
You have the same amount of cards, you shuffle the deck up, you charge them out again,
Yeah.
and you do the same stuff.
Yeah.
So essentially this game for us as 3 strategic people who are trying to win a game,
Yeah.
this is a 3-4 hour game.
Yeah.
And that's the drawback for me
Yeah.
because I want to play a game. I'd rather play something twice in 4 hours
Yeah.
than play it once. But
Yeah.
it is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see it getting better and aging because, I feel like the strategy. I also feel like one of the drawbacks that gives me the lowest score, I think, is that it can get quite competitive. I feel like eventually, if we all played 5 or 6 times,
Yeah.
eventually it gets to the point where there is a best strategy.
Yeah.
And we're all trying to achieve that.
Yeah.
And it gets quite gritty and competitive.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I just don't know if that's what I want, like if that's what I'm looking for in a board game.
You
Yeah.
can
like-
already see that at the end of the Canal phase as well. Like
Yeah.
it's starting to brew where it's like, oh, okay, I see where you're going. And what
Churchy
you're
built
doing.
that iron mine and just ruined my plan.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah,
And I'd
even
already
stuff
built
like that.
coal mine that cut Fox off from
Yeah.
where he was trying to go. And
Yeah.
Yep.
And the same thing is true in the rail phase. And it's like I was like, oh, it'd be cool if I could just go like pottery and sort of focus on that. But then I was looking at it and looking at the numbers and what it cost me. And I was like, I think it's objectively better to ignore it and just try and build links and get flipped industries.
Yeah. Just focus on cotton and manufactured goods.
And like I was boxed out of the market that you guys had. One of the markets allows you to sell all of your industries, which flips them.
Yep.
Whereas, so you guys were competing over this one market that allowed you to flip industries. Whereas I was like, well, it's too dense down there. I have to
Yeah.
build up here. But that would only let me sell pottery.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys could sell whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's tricky because that means the best thing for me to do is get down there with you guys so I can sell whatever.
Yep.
But then there's 3 of us competing for this tiny part of the map.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also we don't need to compete. I could tack onto your networks. I don't know. There's definitely a depth there that we haven't explored.
Yeah.
And I feel like, honestly, this game would take 5 or 6 times before you go, I'm playing at my best.
I think so. Yeah. And there's a bit of RNG there too because those locations, those markets that you're selling to,
Yeah.
are little tiles that are sort of shuffled and
randomized.
and distributed. And then what, you flip them?
You flip them at the start of the game.
Yeah.
And so, like, but we all have different cards.
Yeah.
And the problem was all my cards were blue. Basically, all my cards meant I could build
In the top section.
in the top
of the map.
section.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys kind of had a bit more freedom down the bottom.
I'm pretty sure we both had some pretty good central and bottom cards.
So there is a little bit of RNG, and you can mitigate that a bit with your action where you discard 2 and pick up 2 wilds.
Oh yeah.
But that cost me an action.
Yeah.
So on my first turn, I do that.
You're already a
and then
turn
you
behind.
guys have already started building down there.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of that. I feel like the game balances risk reward well
Yep.
and catch up mechanics well.
Yeah. Yep.
And I do feel like as we play it more, it would climb.
Yep.
But I feel like you play Brass Birmingham 5 or 6 times and you could have played 3 games of Root, 3 games of Far Shore,
yeah.
2 games of this in the same
Yeah.
time and had all these. Yeah. So that's kind of a little bit of the drawback for me.
Yeah, the
Definitely.
length is definitely a little bit of a drawback. But I
Yeah.
guess one good thing I would say in regards to that is I like that they've got the rules for like if you finish the Canal phase and you want to stop and just score it up then.
Yeah.
That is
Enjoy that
great.
because so many times we play games,
Yeah.
but we don't quite have enough time to finish them. So it was great that it was like, hey, you've reached the halfway point.
It's like,
you
yeah.
can score it up.
We know
Yeah.
it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So here's a quick mode.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I actually think you could play just that game.
Oh, easy.
If you sat down
Easy.
and said, "This is how we score the canal phase.
Yep.
Let's just play canal."
Yeah, easy.
You could do a 2-hour game where you all feel comfortable with the scoring and just play that through, and you wouldn't feel underdone. I don't think. I
No.
feel like that's actually a really good game mode that it has. So
I agree.
yeah, at the moment it's sitting on the lower scale. I could see it climbing the more we play it.
Yep.
But I always just think about what else could I be playing instead, and that kind of drags it down for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But I can I understand why it's number one? Like, do you think it's number one?
I just don't think any game could be number one.
Yeah, right.
Like,
I
it's
get
just
that.
Like,
That makes sense.
yeah, it's just like how
Different strokes for different folks.
Absolutely.
So, like, the people that are probably so enthusiastic about board games
Yeah.
that they would go on and vote for a board game
Yeah.
are probably the type of people that would love Brass Birmingham.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might be one of those things.
Yeah.
Whereas us, I live on Board Game Geek and I don't even know if I have an account.
You know, you can make accounts.
Yeah.
Oh, you
so
can comment. You can comment.
there you go. But can you vote? I don't know. I've
I don't
never
know.
voted for a game. So maybe the more casual people that like us that would like to play a lot of different games, like
Yeah.
chill games like Dead of Winter and Far Shore,
Yeah,
or whatever
yeah.
else is behind us,
Plenty.
would probably vote it lower. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think if you really like a game that you could play 10, 15 times and the experience doesn't change, it's all about building your engine and having that competitive, true Euro experience, you
Yeah.
would love this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely more about the competition and figuring out the strategies and then competing with your friends rather than like having
Yeah.
a casual. I mean, like you can play it casually, but it's definitely got a more competitive feeling to it than
Yeah.
For sure.
a lot of the other
Absolutely.
games we played.
It definitely feels like a competitive game. Like you
Yeah.
play it with the hope that everyone has the same understanding about the game
Yeah.
and you're just trying to best them.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's what it feels like, yeah.
sure. Well, Brass Birmingham.
That's Brass.
It's Brass.
That's our knowledge of Brass,
Yep.
having played a couple times.
Good.
In summary, it's good.
Good.
It's good.
Summary good. Worth looking at. If you're even slightly considering it, just check it out on YouTube. Check out old mate Rodney Smith and watch it played.
Yeah.
He does a great video.
It does give
Yeah.
you a great idea about how the game is played, even just watching that, how to play.
Yeah.
You kind of get an idea. That was my first impression was
Yep.
I understand straight away that this is more of a competitive, completely symmetrical,
Yep.
chess-like experience
Yeah.
where you're just trying to you all understand eventually the best way to build your engine and you eventually get to the point where you're competing to try and hinder other people's ability to do that
Yeah.
whilst enhancing your own.
Yep.
And that's Brass.
Love it. Love it.
Love it. Are
Well,
you exhausted?
Yeah.
Is that what that big sigh was?
Thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed. If you like content like this, please consider subscribing, like the video, check out our second channel where we do our battle reports and our board game playthroughs.
Yeah.
Link in the description. Also, check out hobbyhomies.com for links to all our other stuff, like our Discord server where you can join for free and
Yeah.
be a part of our little community. It's pretty awesome. People in there are always doing something.
If you're listening to this all the way up to this point, you probably like board games a fair bit.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a board game channel in the Discord where you can jump in there and just talk about what board games you played recently,
Yep.
what you want to play. Oh man, we love board games. Of the entirety of our tabletop adventure, that's a large part of it. And
Yep.
we would love to hear about what you're playing and chat to you about it because there are so many board games we would love to hit up in a studio session.
For sure.
It's like 4 of us usually in here that can play
Yep.
something. So let us know what you got, what you love. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, yeah. And a massive shout out to our patrons. For $2 a month, you can get early access to videos like this, battle reports, and all other kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So big shout out to our goats. We have Burnsy, Final Dinosaur, Gridlock, Axe, Annex, MJ, Test Dummy, Black Apollo, Journeyman, and in the OGs we have Brandon W, Moose, Alco, Chetji.
Thanks, Churchy. We got Rad Rooster, Ollie Hockers, Penny Aggro, Don Hua Don, Pure Blind, Jackson V, Fat Boy, Kevin H, Nathan A, and
Big Roach.
We've had some dope Patrons join this week.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. You're incredible.
Absolutely.
What are you doing with your money? You irresponsible person.
They just-
Thank you.
Just giving it to us. It's like so kind.
It's super kind.
Yeah.
We appreciate it so much. It's nutty.
It really
Thank
does.
you.
It really helps. It helps us create new content. It helps us create more stuff for the studio and better content. I think
Yeah.
our content's come quite a long way since we started.
And that's because of y'all.
That's because of you guys.
What you see, like the fact that you see us.
Yeah, that's because of
That's
you guys.
'cause of you.
Yeah, because you hear us coming through the microphones. That's also, I mean, slightly because of you, but more so that we've continued on doing
Yeah,
it.
because of you.
because of you.
It's all because of you.
Because of Churchy.
And also because of Churchy, which is also because of you. Y'all do it all. Thank you, patrons.
So this is your
This
fault.
is your,
This is
you've
your
done
fault.
this to yourself.
So anyone listening that hates this and you've been hate watching
This
us,
is
it's the
your fault.
Patreon's fault.
Oh yeah. Well,
They're
hang on.
probably not a
Whoa.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we didn't have patrons, we couldn't
Who would
do this.
hate watch us? Like that's pretty like aggressive.
There's a thing that people hate watch people.
I can't think of anything worse.
Well, you don't get it because you're not a. What's the newest generation of iPad kids?
Gen Alphas.
I don't know, man. People hate watch people. There are people that hate watch us for sure.
For sure.
We have too many viewers for them to be people that genuinely like us.
People that dislike our videos.
Yeah.
That's like one guy.
Yeah. That guy hate watches us.
Yeah.
And we appreciate that because any interaction apparently is
It's
good.
yeah.
We hate it because our egos are fragile as fuck.
Oh, just
but-
like shatter like a
YouTube
pane of
loves it.
glass.
Yeah. So thank you so much to all
Like
of you.
your leg.
You did this. You hate watched my broken leg. I broke this because you hate watched me.
Yeah, nice.
Anyway, thank you so much. Hope
Thanks
you like
for
Brass
watching.
Birmingham.
See you next week.
Toodles.
Woo! Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing